Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, new guitar day. Kinda, sorta. I rented it, but I'm definitely gonna buy this thing from Long McQuaid. Anyways, so I want to go over the specs quickly, but they will be in the description below either way. Body material is laminated maple, top is laminated maple, center block is going to be the same. Neck is made out of mahogany. Well, not laminated maple for the center block, it'll be solid. We have a D-profile slim tapered neck. Fingerboard, perlate dot inlays, rosewood of course. The fingerboard radius is 12 inch, so it's pretty good. 24 and 3/4 inch scale, 1 6/8 nut. El Nico Classic humbucker in the neck and a Classic Plus in the bridge. Kind of reminds me a lot of the 57 and 57 Classic Plus in my Les Paul. Sound is very similar. 2 volume, 2 tone, 3-way toggle switch of course to get around your pickups. 2 pneumatic stop bar, lock tone, tailpiece. Hardware is all nickel, vintage burst for this model. Does come in a really sick blue, costs more money though. And of course it comes in red. That's your 3 color choices. 8.2 pounds of mayhem. This thing has got some weight to her. My Les Paul's a lot heavier though. 10 to 46 gauge D'Addario strings are on this thing. Now, this thing is a brand spanking new guitar right off the rack. They didn't have anything in rentals for a Dot. And, you know, I had a lot of options for guitars, obviously, because with right-handed, I have every choice in the world now, right, going with right-handed stuff. But I wanted something that would be easier for me to play, too, and something with a fuller-sized body similar to an acoustic. Definitely ideal for me because I am a left-handed player and I have been for over 40 years. So it's kind of like I'm trying to do something that very few people on this planet can even pull off. So I need the most advantages possible. So a semi-hollow body it is. And I didn't want to go hollow body because that's also a lot more money. And if I'm going to buy a hollow body, I'm going to go left-handed. And I've actually looked at the Gretsch Falcon, the white one, with all the gold trimmings. That's like almost $6,000, and that's in a lefty model. So that I would buy in a hollow body, and that is in my plan. I just don't know if I'm ever going to be able to afford it unless a miracle happens. But in the case of a right-handed guitar, this will do the job. And this is the ES-335 copy of the Gibson one. If you want to buy the Gibson one, then go ahead. I mean, if you got over, almost $5,000 to spend, knock yourself out. But I'd rather spend $650. This Canadian prices too, by the way. Now, of course, I do not have the best skill level at right-handed right now, so keep your negative comments to yourselves, please. Give me credit for at least what I can do. But the tuners on this are Grovers. They're also a 16-to-1. Now, I honestly, guys, I am not a fan of 14, 16, or 18-to-1 tuners, although 18-to-1 would be a lot better. I prefer a much higher ratio tuner myself, especially after experiencing 21-to-1 on my Gretsch. I'm kind of like, well, I got to do this. So when I do the purchase on this guitar, because right now, like I said, it's a rental, I am going to purchase this exact guitar. I'm not going to go for a used one that's cheaper or, because those options were put available to me. I'm going to buy this exact one because this is one that I'm attached to. So, and it's very important when I buy guitars that I'm attached to a specific guitar. And it's got to be the one that I picked, myself and played myself. And, it's kind of like, yeah, I like this. So the trial base is kind of like this. With everything going on in the world right now, I couldn't even try this out first, which is why I'm renting it first to see if I get attached. And I'm getting pretty darn attached to it, so it's something that is definitely going in my collection. No two ways about it, okay? So it still qualifies in that sense as new guitar day, either way. So let's get on with this. I'm going to go with clean channel, and I'm going to go with dirty. I want to save some time, or I'd go acoustic, but I can tell you that with the acoustic simulator, on this guitar with these pickups is fantastic, okay? So, like I said, I just want to save time on the video, so I'm going to just go with clean and dirty, but I have tried the acoustic sim, and it is fantastic with these pickups. Maybe in another video, I'll do that with the acoustic sim for you guys, just because then that would also be a short video, so we may do that yet. We still have to worry about a review and all that stuff, so this is kind of like my first impression and thoughts video, so no star rating today. Anyways, let's do this. So starting with the neck pickup, all the controls, of course, are at full. So I'm pretty good with basic chords. I just kind of really suck at bar chords right now because it's a little different and weird for me, but it does have a very low action to it, and the medium jumbo frets that are on this thing are really good too. So you got to watch the pressure too, because the fatter the frets, the lighter the touch you have to be. Like, seriously. Now I'm also using a very thin pick too, but I will move on to a thicker pick, so it does change the tone a little bit when you use a thicker pick. Go back to the thinner pick just because it's a lot easier for me to strum right now. So middle position, so both pickups. I should also mention this is being recorded live, so I have a 24-bit mic set up here, stereo mic, so you're getting the sound from my Katana at the mic. I'm not going through the PA system with this, other than the microphone itself. So we're on the neck now. Okay, so let's move on to some distortion. So I've got the Rat distortion pedal programmed into this thing because I love the Rat. It's cool. Okay, now for this we're definitely got to move up to a thicker pick because we're going to do some power chords. That's our bridge, so the both. Neck. not good at that. That should just about cover it. I'm not the best at right-handed right now. Come on, cut me some slack here. Anyways, the idea here is to give you a general idea of some different sounds, different effects with this thing. I'll do a separate video with the acoustic sim and maybe a couple other different effects, like we'll add in a chorus or whatever, okay? But as to my first impressions on this, again, this is not a review, okay? As to my first impressions, though, as far as the price goes, I will be repeating this in the review, it is definitely worth the money, okay? So we're talking $650 Canadian, basically, for this thing. I like the D profile neck. It's not too chunky. It's not too thin either, you know? And I generally prefer really thin necks, but, you know, this is quite comfortable, okay? I find it's quite nice. The Grover tuners, although I'm not a fan of 16-to-1, they do hold their tune really well. They do tune really well, period. And they are Grovers, so they are decent tuners. They're good quality tuners. The nut was cut just beautifully on this. I wish Gibson would learn from Epiphone on how to cut a nut properly, because Gibson doesn't know how to do that. Anyway, that's just my own opinion. And I own a real Gibson, so I can get away with saying that. The intonation is pretty much spot on this thing, you know, as far as that's going to get for being spot on. So it's got very good intonation, so not worried about that. Even doing some, you know, little bit of bending, it's still holding tune, you know, so that's really good. Now that is something about Epiphone. They have less back rake, they have much more narrower headstock, so strings are a lot straighter off the tree at the nut, so you're going to get better tuning stability that way. I like the design. I like the burst on this thing. It's a really nice burst. The kind of brashish, goldish colored knobs work really well with the burst, even though we do have chrome hardware on here. Now, I am a fan of gold, so if this thing was, you know, all gold hardware, I'd be even happier. But I have no intentions of putting gold hardware on this thing because I've done that once already with a guitar. That was expensive enough, so we're not doing that as a repeat. And besides, this is right-handed guitar. This is not something where I'm going to invest a boat can load of money into. I feel that even for myself, I mean, $650 is kind of a, but you know what? It is brand spanking new. It's not somebody else's used guitar at a cheaper price. It is brand spanking new off the rack in the store, and it's kind of like, yeah, I can do that, you know, and it's got the comfort level. That's very important, that any guitar you play, left or right-handed, no matter what your skill level set is, you know, you have to be comfortable playing the guitar, or what's the point of having it other than, oh, it looks great. You know, this thing looks great, and it is comfortable, so, you know. And I've never been a massive fan of the antique burst thing, but this one actually is nice because it really makes that maple shine a lot. Plus, you've got the back burst on this as well, which shows really nicely. I've looked the entire guitar over as best as I can, and I can't see any blends in the finish anywhere, the fitting, any of that. It's just really well made, okay? It's not a bound fretboard, although it is kind of deceiving because that's the typical look of a bound fretboard, and it's not a bound fretboard. And the frets, I mean, you can squeeze as hard as you want. You're not going to find any sharp edges on this at all. You know, this one was done just beautiful. So a lot of care, quality control went into this instrument, which is pretty impressive for an under $1,000 instrument. They did a wonderful job on this. Lots of range too, I find. Let me just go back to the clean channel for a minute here. This is one thing I do actually look for on guitars too, is the amount of range control for rollback on volume and tone. You know, just a little bit. I can hear it. That's a lot of range. Treble, loads of range there. So you can really get the brittleness even out of the bridge. So definitely loads of range. I've even my Les Paul has decent range, but it's not as good as this for the amount of level of noticeability through the range. Even my Les Paul is a far, far more expensive guitar, and even those pots do not have the same range as this. So, you know, that's really nice that these have a lot of range to them. So you can really dial in that tone you're after, you know, quite easily. You know? Great at bar chords right now, but that's nice though. Quite nice. So on my first impressions, I am severely and most honestly really super impressed with this thing. This is a really fantastic instrument. So I would recommend right now, go try one out, see what you think of it. I personally think it's a great guitar. It's great for jazz, it's great for blues, it's great obviously for heavy metal sounds like the Rat. It'll probably do exceedingly well with the blues driver as well as, you know, an overdrive pedal. It's going to do them all, and really decently too. And because you have so much range in the volume and the treble, you can really super sweet spot dial in your tone on any effect you're in. So that's actually also really impressive. Now, one thing about, of course, this style of a guitar in a semi-hollow, because it's a larger body, you do have to fit the body properly. And if you're already used to playing a full-size acoustic, going to something like this is so nice because it's virtually the same range up in here for the main width as my Yamaha acoustic, but it's thinner, so it gets me much closer in, which I think really is a benefit in many ways for me being able to play this thing even better, okay? And I'm only going to get better with the more time I put into this, because what you get into guitar, you're going to get out of it, right? But yeah, definitely an awesome instrument. Check one out. Rent them. I think this was like $23 in tax or something like that per month to rent at Long McQuaid. So if you are in Canada, you can rent the Epiphone Dot 335. And like I said, when it comes to, I don't know what is normally in the rentals as far as, is it just the red one or whatever. They had nothing in stock in North Bay in their rental area. The red one, I guess, is out on rental, or somebody may have bought their rental model. I don't know. But this one was brand new off the rack, and he had this in the vintage burst, and I'm like, I prefer that over red any day, you know, because this is more of a me style of guitar for the kind of music I play, so why not, you know, go with what you're into. But they do have 3 color options, right? The blue one is about $720, so I'm not sure why yet. I haven't even looked at the specs. I just saw the price. I'm like, nice blue, but owie, you know. $650 is more than my limit before tax for buying this. So, you know, I love that blue though, but just not quite that much to spend the extra $70 more, right? So I don't know what else is about that blue one. I have to look at it more. Maybe there is something more to it to justify it, but I'm settled on buying this particular one that's in my arm right now. This is the actual one I'm going to purchase. But I do have to put a new set of strings on it because factory strings suck. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, do take a look at the full specs down in the description below. Also, the Long & McQuade link will also be in the video description, so you can just click on it and it'll have the link to the page with these three color choices, because that's all they have for the Epiphone. You can pick from them and check them all out and see for yourself. And you know, wherever you happen to live in Canada, there's a Long & McQuade somewhere, and they're always opening up more and more and more stores all the time, which is really bonus. So, but anyways, thanks again so much for watching. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed, please do so and smash the bell for notifications. I have all kinds of different variety of stuff going on my channel. I have some stuff on its way here. I don't know when it's going to get here. It's not guitar related though, but that's okay. That's why we're a variety channel. But I will have more right-handed guitars, but it'll be stuff that I've either rented to try out for you guys to tell you what I think. But I think I'll start doing that when I can play a lot better. But I'm also going to be probably buying some used guitars if I can find some really cheap enough ones that I can just fix up and flip for a small profit, you know, so that somebody who's a beginner would be able to start out with something that's beginner grade that is actually properly put together, you know, that sort of thing. So we'll definitely have that sort of stuff continuing on, both right and left-handed stuff too. Anyways, so thank you and see you later.